when you do this one, the punch is actually start from here. So you aim with the punch and with the elbow. Right? You come down, right? Yeah, from here, the phục手 come down almost level. Yeah, right? Okay, good. And
the Pak style, I've seen, I remember you telling us go Pak and pivot here instead of pulling it back.
There's two different Pak style, right? One is from after you do the phục手. From here. No, you stabilize this point from here.
Okay.
All right. And then the other one, you palm strike from here. From here, but you still bring your elbow in behind your strike. Okay. Now, Wing Chun have a reverse elbow strike. So that is actually a reverse elbow strike, right? And the fist is away from the body, so that when you train this form, you practice to use both arms at the same time. Because if you're resting here, then you will be only concentrate on the arm that you're using. So, but you keep it out here, so you constantly has to think about the arm. So you squat down to form the stance. That's the neutral stance that you transfer your weight before you move one leg. Right, so you're a neutral stance. The Wing Chun is called the Yi Kim Yong Ma. Yi Kim Yong Ma. The Yi means two. Right? Two. So that's 8. Right? Yi Kim Yong Ma means your both feet are parallel. In the modified Wing Chun, they have the neutral stance like this. They actually start from here. They like this. And you can't move because you're locked up. Right? And also, that's not a Yi, that's a Bati. 8. Yi is the feet are parallel. And you squeeze with your knee so that your whole feet is on the ground, so you balance. Right? Not like that. Then all the energies are fighting against each other. So your stance, your objective, to have a good stance is stability and mobility. Right? Stability and mobility. So if you squat too down, too low, you have a lot of stability but no mobility. If you're too high, too much mobility, no stability. So you want to find the best. So it's stability and mobility. And so your vertebrae, your stance, your vertebrae is aligned. That means your head, your neck, and your vertebrae is aligned. And your pelvis is pushed forward so that the energy applied on your arm can escape. Right? If your tail is sticking out, that means energy applied to you is stopped here because the energy cannot escape from the floor. Okay, so that's why you can fight against a bigger person. A lot of force applied to you. You deflect the force. You don't fight the force. So the force can escape. So you bring it up. This teaches you to how to hold the fist. Right? And then you bring it back. It's not resting on your body. The reason being is it has to remind you that you have two arms, not just one arm, or resting there. Then it does not register up there, right? So you come down and you transfer your weight. So you come down, you transfer weight to your right, then you pick up the left foot. You transfer your weight to the left, you pick up the right foot. And then you can actually check, see if your stand is wide enough or is too wide, right? Okay? So the first one that defines the central line, right? Central line, the boundary is where you're able to cross your arm. Where you're able to cross your arm. So central line allow you to use two arms at the same time, right? So even though we just did it here, but it's when your arm cross, you're able to. So you bring this back, right? Now, the stance is very important because you are doing something. You have to align your vertebrae. So your vertebrae has to be aligned. Normally, when you stand, just when you relax, your tail actually sticks out. So your vertebrae is not aligned with the body. And this slows down because your memory, the memory of your training is stored. This is called a pattern memory or reflexes memory. It's stored in the vertebrae. If it's not aligned, it takes longer. To store. It does not store up here. It's stored inside, the vertebrae. So you have to roll your pelvis forward. So you don't want to lean back, right? If you feel your weight on your heel too much, that means you're leaning back, right? So you want to be, right? So we do the tansao. The tansao comes out. Keep your elbow in the center. So the first rule about Wing Chun is you must protect the center. Not just protect with your arm, but protect with your elbow as well. So a lot of movement that you do in the defense movement or even the attack movement, you keep your elbow in the center. So it automatically protects your body. So the tansao goes out slowly, right? So you are aware of the little progression of this movement. That's very important because if you draw a line on the blackboard, if you have a very very strong magnifying glass, and you can see the line is not a line, it's the dots. They join up, it's made up by all these dots. Same thing, your continuity. You have to have that continuity that is not like ordinary martial art that's from here, there's two dots. Because in between they don't know, they cannot interrupt it. But in Wing Chun it's different. You want to be aware of every point, every movement. So it's made up by all these little dots, aware, right? So at the same time you're aware of this staying here, not resting here. It's just, staying here, right? So you come up, right? In the beginning, the beginner will train with the wrist rotation, right? We train with the wrist rotation. But when you advance, you progress, that you actually, when you apply, you actually do the Chun Sao with a small circle, getting away from the opponent's arm and catching it again. But in the beginning, you teach a beginner, the Yun Sao is like this. But when you progress, you want to apply the Yun Sao like this, right? With very little swaying of the elbow, right? So you come in, right? So same thing, every little dot that you have to be aware, have to be registered. You probably noticed that in Wing Chun, especially in Silim Tao, you do things in opposite. When you apply, you do the Wu Sao actually going out, your Wu Sao start coming back in. But when you train, you turn it in reverse. So when you turn in reverse, your body understands it more. So when you apply it, it's more accurate. So it's along this path, you come in, right? Come into here, yeah. So it's not relaxing and then something comes in and your arm is collapsing, right? So from here to go to the Fuk Sao, there's not a movement. This is not a movement. You just place this in there, right? Then you drive this point out and bringing the elbow in at the same time, right? So from here, it's not a movement, right? So you don't have to do it very fast, right? So from here, right? So you bring this in, push this out with the elbow, right? With the elbow. And then, but this is different. The Fuk Sao, this is different. This Yun Sao is different to the Tan Sao Yun Sao, right? You remember I say in the Tan Sao Yun Sao that when you actually apply it, you do a little circle. But the Fuk Sao Yun Sao is different because you got the opponent here. You want to push him aside, then you can do a strike. So you are aware of that application. So it's different. And then you come back. Then you come back to the Wu Sao. Right? You come back to the Wu Sao. And then you come back here and back to that position. Bring your elbow in, right? Yun Sao. Then you come back to the Wu Sao. It probably does not even connect. From the Fuk Sao to the Wu Sao doesn't even connect. It's just in here. You might do a strike, or you come back to here, right? Then the third time, you bring this out, right? So by this time, your arm and your knee and your leg will be pretty tiring, right? If you do slowly. So you start thinking about this and also concentrate on this. So your mind starts to think of several things at the same time. That's how you train to use your mind to operate, to coordinate the arm and the legs, right? But if you do that standing up or you do that here, it doesn't do anything. So the third time, right? And then you do a Park Sao, get your elbow inside, you strike, right? So you don't strike with the body, you don't strike with the shoulder. Everything is from the elbow. Everything is from the elbow. So that's why you don't have a momentum. You don't want a momentum. So you go, everything is from the elbow, right? Oh, after the strike, you do the Yun Sao. Same thing. In the beginning, you do it. When you're a beginner, you do it just to practice the wrist movement. But afterward, to apply, usually you do a small circle. right? Okay. So the other side is the same, right? The other side is the same. You bring this point out. This point is where the point that you are making contact with your opponent's striking arm or leg. You know, this point or that point. So you're bringing this point in the center, bringing the elbow here. So with the elbow supporting your block, your defense block. And because the elbow connected to the shoulder, shoulder connected to is in front of your hip and your knee and your foot. So it becomes very strong. But if you do that, it's not very strong, right? So everything is come from the elbow. And the elbow in the center become very strong, right? So you do this little movement when you are beginner, or you can still do it here because it's good exercise for you, right? And then you come back, right? Make sure when you come back you can still sustain the force that comes in with you. Then this is not a movement, right? Don't try to refine this, right? It's nothing to refine. You just place your hand in here, and then you bring this out. Elbow comes in, then you make contact here, right? Now, why you don't do that? Because then you have to keep protecting, because this does not stop. This actually create a path, allow the opponent to come in, but away from your body. In Chi Sao, you realize that little bit of force makes a lot of difference, right? You want the force that goes directly in front. You don't want to push this way or that way or down or up. You want it, just in one direction, so that you develop your contact reflexes, and you can sense, and then you can sense the opponent's, your training partner's energy, right? So that's how you develop good reflexes, right? So from here, right? Remember here, just to see if I'm here, right? If I push the opponent's arms out, I'm leaving myself wide open. But if I use that, my elbow is still defending myself, right? So I by pushing without using your arm, just use your wrist, and you still protect the center. That is the secret of this Yun Sao in the Wu Sao, right? So, and come back, right? And then you don't want your elbow here, because if you stop something here, this is in front of your body, and you're going to push you off, right? So you want to have an angle that the force can escape, but you're still behind your block, your elbow, everything, right? It just a little bit makes so much difference, right? So you come back here, and then you start off from here again, go back out, right? That diagonal, right? And then you come back, right? And then again, right? Third time, right? And get the elbow in, right? And the energy still going out, right? So you go Pak Sao, elbow behind, you strike, right? All the strikes are coming out of the elbow, and you do the Yun Sao, or you can do the bigger Yun Sao. That's fine. Then you come back here, right? Now you do this Gam Sao here. Gam Sao, you don't want to do Gam Sao like that. If you block a kick, you're going to break your wrist. You do the Gam Sao using the blade here, right? And also you don't want to do it close to your body, right? Because the further away, the more protection you have, right? Just slightly in front, right? And then we actually do this usually we apply this technique in reverse. We do that before you strike. But, when you do this one, and then this one, and then come up, you do a phạt sầu, Chun, tan, right? Tan, like a Chun and tan, and chặt, yêu, chum, lim, right? So, and then you have the side palm. The side palm start from here, not from here, right? But you're still trying to get your elbow in, right? Okay. Then you go a tan, a gang, a tan. You're trying to move the elbow as little as possible. So tan, gang, tan, and strike. Right. Tan, gang, and strike. Right. And bong, tan, reverse palm strike. Bong, tan, reverse palm strike. So you, all this time, you want as little movement with your shoulder as possible, right? Because everything is on the elbow, right? So from here, right? Right. Then you come back, here, okay? So if your leg is not burning, your arm is not burning, you're doing something wrong, okay? All right. Yeah.
Let's see. Do a round punch. So I'm going to block like this. So this padded part of the palm is what you want to block.
Right.
So the way to test that is the first joint in the thumb should be parallel to the tip of your nose. So do the round punch again. If I do this, push through, my fingers can't support the force of the blow. So, right? So that's why we keep our guard here. Some styles do the wusao here. There's nothing wrong with that. You can use a wusao here if someone punches to your midsection, but most people are headhunters, right? Most people are headhunters. So he does the punch, right? I want to keep it here. Same thing with the tan. If I block this way, he can push through, my wrist is going to bend. So the rule of thumb for that is where the bend of the wrist is should be parallel to the tip of your nose. So he throws the punch, right? And I block so I got some substance. And the reason we do this because this covers this part of your face for anything coming laterally to your face. So I'm going to do a round punch to your face. A good wusao. See, so if I'm coming that way, he's got some substance there. He's got some structure. His fingers would collapse. That's why we do the wu here and the tan here. And I've had people say, when I first did my website, how can you see this with your hand here? Here's how I can see. Punch with that hand. Here's how I can see with my hand here. That's how I can see.